Well, hello, Glue Troopers, Max's model. So today I got back to work on the two-seat Hawker Sea Fury, the T.20, and stripes came out okay, not perfect. So next was start mounting the landing gear, which is the quote-unquote complicated part of this model. Once you get the main struts in, you have the bracing struts. Then you have the large gear doors, which don't have any pins. You just kind of have to guesstimate where they go. Then the little tiny gear doors go after that. Of course, I pre-painted the wheels separately and set everything up to let harden. Yeah, the landing gears looked pretty much about right. And once that hardened, I got the little very simple cowling fit on perfectly without any problems, and test fit the canopy. And once it was on there, got all the doors on, the inner doors and everything, I was like, okay, time to start decaling. And this, of course, is where I ran into problems. Really bad curling. I had used the restore fluid, so only a couple of the decals broke up on me. But some of them would lay down and some of them would not. And I was using every kind of setting solution I had, the Solvaset and the Tamiya stuff. And finally, after a while, I got some of them to bite, but I'm pretty sure that these are going to have to be replaced at some point, at least some of the roundels and everything. They actually have yellow tips for the props, but I went ahead and just painted them. It was just a simpler solution. The little ones they had didn't show that well. They weren't sized quite right, and I figured they just flake off like the rest of them. So then I posed it for some beauty shots, and of course you've got the little periscope mirror that goes on for the instructor. And well, let's just take a look at the airplane for a few seconds, and then I'll come back. Next order of business is start working on the Catalina, and I have already lacquer clear coated the clear parts. So I tried a couple of different techniques based on what everybody said. I first off just masked off one piece of framing, used a paint pen, and once that hardened, removed the mask from the winch strip. Okay, looked fine. But a lot of folks had said with these raised Revell canopies, it's just as easy to just use the paint pen on the whole thing. So I tried that, and with a little patience, it looked just about as good. But the problem came, as always comes with these things. Eventually, you hit that one time when you touch the pen and the ink just decides, or the paint just decides to blob up and run. Fortunately, it's an acrylic, so I acted fast and I was able to recover it. And that was, not bad. It came out okay. Actually, to be honest, a little better than expected. I did the inside and the outside for full coverage, and this is using a paint pen. And then I was like, okay, the other technique that was recommended was to take the Tamiya tape and paint it black or whatever the appropriate color is, and then try using that. Since the side blisters are a little more, with the compound curve and everything, a little trickier, I was like, okay, this will be a good one to try the tape on. And it has its pluses and minuses. Now, of course, I not only painted the tape, but I made sure to saturate the sides so you didn't wind up with this nice black trim with yellow edges on it. And then when that was done, I put it on the bubble canopy. And the nice thing about the tape is, since the paint's already hardened, of course you don't have any smears or anything. It's very crisp. It did break at one point. You got to be very careful. You can't put too much pressure on it. And but it worked really well. So I think a combination of these two will work nicely on this model. And my only concern about the tape is at some point it may decide to start peeling up, which is, a risky run. And the smaller the tape, the less adhesive holding it in place. But for right now, it looks really good. And I may try some conventional stuff as well. But right now, these are the way. This is how I'm going to pre-do a lot of these, so that when the time comes, I can just white glue them onto the model. And okay, so pretty successful little day overall. I really am happy with the way things started looking at. I didn't realize until I'd done it that when I went all that trouble to mask off and paint that one framing, that actually is the edge of a solid piece of metal on the airplane. So I wound up coloring in the one side of what I'd gone through that trouble to do. And of course, acrylic cleans up. I had to clean up a few things with a toothpick, but not a big deal. And when I'm done, of course, I'll drop it, and I'll probably drop it into either hit it with a lacquer shot or hit it with with floor wax. But I know that makes the whole thing shine. But you know what? You got to protect it. Acrylic comes off too easy. Okay, guys, that's what I have for right now. We'll talk at you later. Don't forget those pictures for the Irwin Allen build. You take care of yourselves. And as always, model on.
Hit the open bottle of pain.